So let's say you do have kids of your own, when is it acceptable for your kids to start getting into relationships? Maybe you're going to say it's acceptable around the time that you started dating, because there's a woman who did not have a conversation with her family about the birds and the bees and the ins and outs of when it's okay to start seeing people compared to, putting school first and putting, what's it called, relationships and such.
Things in and out. And putting things in and out.
You're terrible. I just wanted to have an idea of how do you feel about your kids starting to date at some point. I'm just curious, would you guys be okay with that?
I am anti-dating.
Really?
I think one should be in a courtship like the Duggars, where you start off and you're not allowed to touch at all, and then when you get engaged, you get to hold hands and side hug.
Side hug.
Yeah.
Side hug.
What was really interesting?
I finally got married. I can get a side hug now.
I've been watching this TV show, and it's really stupid. I'm not even watching the TV show. I've been watching it on TikTok. It's really disgusting.
Which one?
I was watching a part of the 90 Day Fiance. I can't speak.
Yes.
It's so funny though.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
Bad.
I've never watched a show like that before, but I somehow got sucked into it on TikTok. How? I genuinely don't understand.
You got sucked.
And I'll tell you the one I've been watching. Have you heard about the one of Brandon and Mary?
I don't know people's names.
Okay, so Brandon and Mary is the story of how they're really young. I would say probably between 18 and 19.
Oh, God.
And Dave, I'm sorry, I'm staring at David. Brandon had given up $60,000 that he saved of his entire life from working, and spent it all to Mary, who lives in the Philippines, to build her a house.
Wow.
And he's giving up his life in America to go to the Philippines to live with Mary.
That's crazy.
I've seen this episode, actually.
It's not an episode. It's actually multiple episodes.
Yes, I've seen this multiple episodes.
Because I've been keeping up with it. They just put a new
on
one.
TLC. Yes, I know.
Yeah, but I'm not
Tables,
watching
ladders,
it.
and chairs?
Yeah. I'm not watching it on TLC. I'm watching it on TikTok because I just don't have time.
My mom watches it with me.
It's really disgusting because Mary will get very jealous if he's even sitting next to another woman.
That's the one with he went to the dentist and she had to be on FaceTime.
Yes.
Okay, I've seen
So
that.
it's basically let's say, for example, because Devin's in shock, let's say, for example, Devin, you and I in this scenario are together, right? If you're sitting next to Emily, I'm going to lose my mind and I'm going to say you're cheating on me because you're sitting next to Linda and Emily. Just because you're sitting next to them, you're not looking at them, touching them, talking to them. It's just the fact you're in the same room.
Please don't touch me.
He's not even allowed to go to his mother's house because he believes that Mary believes that if Brandon goes to his mother's house and she has roommates there, women roommates, he might cheat on Mary with one of his mom's friends.
They're 24-hour FaceTiming.
Yeah, they're not allowed to get off the phone at any point. Constant FaceTiming, sleeping, eating, bathroom time probably, family outings, everything.
This is just so sad.
And I feel like there has to be a line.
Does he have a life?
That is his life. And he gave it all up to go with her to the Philippines, and there's even more rules in the Philippines. We'll get into that after, but I'm just curious. What do you feel?
So my grandma used to say that I'm not allowed to have any boyfriends, and then as a joke I would say, I'm becoming a nun. But I started dating at 16. Yeah.
16 and pregnant?
That was when I knew you.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I know, right?
Yeah, I was dating this one kid for a week in high school. And then I broke up with him because he kept on bringing up his ex. And it made me really sad.
Not worth
Been there.
And then, so if I ever have kids, maybe 16, but depends on, whoever I marry or whatnot, because just say if I marry someone that's just oh yeah, I started dating at this age, then it's just
Start dating
that's
at 12.
I get it if it's a girl, if I have a girl, the dad and probably I are gonna be maybe 16. If I have a boy, then it's whatever, have fun.
Damn.
Go crazy, go
Double
stupid.
standards.
Same.
That's so sexist.
I agree.
You should
crazy, go
treat
stupid.
your children the same.
I agree.
If I have kids, because I'm planning on becoming a nun, probably, maybe.
I don't think so.
Never mind.
I'm gonna kidnap
Not-
his
It's
daughter
OnlyFans.
and
It's
be like,
none
I'm
of
gonna
your
give you
business.
freedom.
Yeah, it's none of your
bra
business.
strapping me.
What
Not a bra
about
strap, it's a wire.
what about you, Devin? How do you feel about if you were to have kids? Like, are you putting an age limit on when you're allowed to date or when you're allowed to start seeing people? Like some people are all different.
I mean, like there's always those kids in like first, second, third grade that like they're holding hands down the hallway and they got separate classes, but like that's not really dating. Like,
Of course not. They don't understand
They
the
got other hoes.
consequences.
You don't think they don't
Okay.
understand?
So,
I don't think they understand what's really going on. I think they just know that there's something deeper, but they're not ready for it.
Something Between Us by Daft Punk.
I think I think they understand that there's more to kissing, but they just don't understand what they're supposed to do.
I'm thinking when you
leave
get
the
to high
kids
school.
alone.
I'm being dead serious because I work with children and I know what they're thinking because I sit there and I color and I just listen and I don't say anything.
Color.
I color and I eavesdrop.
Sounds like you're having more fun than the kids are.
No, they're having a good time.
Coloring.
They're having a great time. I'm just sitting here making sure they're all having a good time, but I'm just curious on how much they know. So I just sit there and I go, okay, you know what? This is crossing a line now.
I think like by high school, like I think it's okay by then because by then you'll be able to comprehend and understand and remember like in second. You're not gonna remember when you were with your girlfriend in second grade and everything, but
do.
like.
You miss her?
I mean, we're friends.
She's
Call
like
me.
every day.
Yeah.
Please
One
come
that got
back.
away.
Yeah, I no, we were friends for too long. There's no other way there could actually be a relationship there.
Damn. At least it ended up still being friends,
You know,
I think
like-
that's the best outcome.
I want to invite to your
But what
wedding.
if you
Can I
meet
just
someone
say-
like you're friends with your ex?
Can I just say, like the birds and the
grade.
bees talk?
I guess technically, yeah.
Yeah.
So I have a best friend. I've been best friends with her since kindergarten.
Okay.
But anyway, you know how like the flower reproduction system works?
To be honest, I was never taught that way.
Okay, so
Wait, what?
basically when a
Of, like, the
flower,
stigma and stuff? Okay,
yeah,
mhm.
and they're
There's male
just supposed to like
trees and female
touch
trees.
Yeah,
or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, my friend thought that's how like the
Like,
birds
if
and the
you
bees
touch them,
happen.
like,
Like
if
you
you
just
put
like
your fingers
touch
together?
a guy. Yeah, if you just touch a guy. So like her guy best friend,
His gametes
she would get like
would get-
afraid that he's gonna touch her, and then she becomes pregnant
And that's
that
what
way.
that's what cooties are.
I thought it was through magic spit.
No,
Oh yeah, that's
no.
Technically, it is.
Imagine
Technically.
running
was
a
like, I
daycare
looked-
there is crazy.
It technically is magic
Man,
spit.
no.
I'm gonna let Emily swallow and
That's
understand. I'm sorry, wrong context.
What?
David, go.
man, that's crazy.
You gotta spit that out.
That's crazy. Spitters.
Spit it out for me.
Spit or swallow. What a great game we used to have here. But
Yeah.
David, how do you feel about
Well-
when is it too young for, let's say, your kids or just kids in general to start seeing people?
Funny enough, my cousin and I, we were talking about this at my grandma's birthday. She has 2 kids, third and second, and they already have crushes. Like both
Yeah.
girls, by the way.
I had a
Yeah.
crush in like.
I feel like
first
crushes are
grade.
harmless.
I had a crush on my
It's
kindergarten
like,
teacher.
ooh.
I didn't have a crush till like the 4th grade.
But I feel like a crush is normal because you're not really doing anything with it per se. It's just there.
It's just like, oh, this kid's cute.
But it's different if like an adult is pushing like, oh, he's gonna be a handsome heartbreaker one day.
Oh, I hate
my
when they're
god,
like, oh
where's
my
your
God.
girlfriend?
I remember when my
That's
grandma
annoying.
used to say that.
I don't like when people do that because then now you're pushing like romance on children who literally just want to play with a truck or they want to play with a Barbie and they're just like, come on,
There's the heartbreaker.
like come on, you know, like let them just do their thing. Let them swim in the
Yeah.
pool. Let them like
Dip in the
splash.
spa.
My grandma keeps saying to me that if I ever have a boyfriend, she has to meet him first.
She has to meet him first, like as
Before
if you
you
can't.
do?
Yeah, you
Can't meet him. She's-
Yeah.
they
she-
gotta go through her.
Yeah,
Yeah, they got to go through her
She's just
and
like,
my
oh,
papa.
like, oh, you'd be great for my granddaughter.
She doesn't even sound like that.
Daughter.
She
Daughter.
has like a southern it's like a southern accent and a New York accent mixed up.
Dada.
Daughter.
I guess so. She's like
That's
daughter.
Boston.
I tried.
Yeah, you sound like
She's-
JFK.
That's Boston.
I really tried.
And then she's like, actually, you'll be fine. And then she's just like, actually, no, because she's like, you have my sense. She goes, you have my personality. And I go, what's that supposed to mean?
Well,
Have
yeah,
your
for
nose, your
personality.
ugly nose.
Maybe she's
my
looking
God.
for herself.
Yeah, she's looking for a man for herself, and then she'll just give him.
She's
to you.
married. She's
gonna
been
live
married to my
vicariously
grandfather
through
since
you.
she was like 15.
That's what
Wow.
I'm saying. It's been,
And
she wants to spice things up in her life, you know?
Yeah.
Call into
Vicariously
516.
through
Tell
you.
Grandpa to watch his back.
Call into 516-572-7440 if you want to chime in on when's the appropriate age to really start dating in this world, because people are torn about it. I'm going to let Emily finally speak after she got over her magic
Swallowing
spit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, what about my magic spit?
exactly.
Swallowing magic spit.
So I started dating when I was 18 because I went to all girls high school. So options
yes.
be
Yeah.
limited. And I was not friends with Chaminade boys because they
Because
suck.
they're icky. Chaminade boys are icky.
Oh, they're so
Yeah.
ick.
Even Kellenberg boys.
Kellenberg boys
Some-
are ick, but
some
like
of them.
not as ick. as
David
Chaminade.
is ick.
I'm as a Kellenberg boy, I can say some of them are alright. A lot of them are pretty bad.
Like
though.
you.
Yeah, I guess. So.
You're icky.
Ah, you're
Damn.
ick.
Hey,
You got the cooties.
I dated someone from Our Lady, so
Oh my god.
yeah.
How'd that
That's
go?
Fabulous.
How'd that go?
We're friends.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I
Our Lady
ju-
of
ju-
Mercy Academy.
I went to their aqua prom. That was a lot of fun.
That's cool. Aqua?
Oh, junior prom?
Yeah, the junior prom.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
that
And
was a lot of
Aqua,
fun.
does that mean like under the sea theme?
No, it was on a boat.
Yeah, it's on a boat.
Damn it.
I
I'm
didn't
on a
get to
boat.
go. It was very sad.
Oh, you didn't go?
I had the Girl Scout thing.
Oh,
I got
damn.
pulled award.
Oh, never mind. That's huge.
So then, like, what about the dating age for? So
Yeah,
you
so
say
I
18.
think- no, I'm
For yourself.
Well, that's just when I started, but like I think
Wow. You're a
high
Lily
school is
boomer.
fine, but it depends on like who they're dating. Like I think like two 14-year-olds can date, but if it's like a 14-year-old and an 18-year-old, that's really gross and ick.
What the?
Well,
come
yeah,
on,
that's-
the high school senior and the high school freshman.
I hate that
the,
trope.
the OTP.
My grandma was like 15 and my grandfather was like 18.
Aw.
Okay.
It could be worse.
So I
could be
guess,
It's
worse.
not bad.
am I like the only one who's super early?
When'd you
How
start
early
She
dating?
are
probably was
you?
like 13.
I
13.
was 13, 12 when I
Junior
started seeing people. So I remember I had my first quote-unquote boyfriend, which if you really want to hear some horror stories, you're really in for one, because all my relationships are always one after another of snowballs. So I started gaining interest in people when I was like 13. And my first interest was someone who I've always liked older people. He happened to be 16.
Oh my goodness. Oh,
that's
that's
Let's-
high school. Yeah, high school.
Let's
and
just
junior
say
high
I
school.
landed it.
You landed it.
I got to be with that person.
That's
Ooh.
Little did I know that person smelled like cow manure. And to also
Did they play
top it
football?
off, at the time, I wouldn't say that like people like my family was blind to it. I just think that I didn't realize how badly I needed better shirts and I needed more support in the chesticle area. So let's just say everything was out to sea because they were see-through shirts basically. And I think that's what really appealed to the masculine side of this guy. And
This
so
guy seems kind of gross.
oh, trust me.
Cow
So
manure and everything. He rolls around in it.
Dating
I
a
mean, come on,
child.
you're at a camp. What else are you gonna do?
Oh wait, you guys met at camp?
Oh yeah. Oh,
Was
we
he a
met.
counselor
That's even
or
worse.
He was not a counselor because
Oh,
at
God,
16 you're still deemed like a training, like a trainee.
like a CIT.
Yeah, so he was still doing things around the camp, cleaning up and whatnot, and I'm over here just being a kid, just doing my thing, but also
Wait,
in that
were
in
you-
between.
Did you go to the camp?
Yes, my parents paid for that camp.
You went to the camp, and
Yes.
he was a worker at the
Yes.
camp. And man, that's crazy.
Yes, at the time he was a worker.
That is
Yes,
icky.
because these are different times too. So
Like 3 years apart.
yeah, it's a huge difference. I mean, like now in our age, like I feel like 20 to 23 is not a huge difference, but
Yeah.
like 13 to
13 to
16 is a
That's a whole.
huge
That's a whole
gap.
different like
Junior high
school.
school
Like yeah.
and high school.
It's a huge gap when you
Yeah.
think about it in the long run, but at the time I wasn't thinking like that. In my
You were a
head,
child.
in my head, I'm like, "Whoa, I did it!" And he's probably like, "Yeah, I did it." And I'm just, but like we also went to different schools. I found out later on that he became a pedophile.
Ooh.
Yeah. So let's just say my
He ne-
first choice
he
was
never-
not
he never
it.
the
grew
more
up, huh?
you know.
Yeah. So let's just say it did not work out very well.
Yikes.
Did he ever meet Chris Hansen?
Oh, he got met.
Yeah.
Okay, he got met. Let's just say that it was a whole slew of things. But that's
so
not.
sorry. That's terrible.
Yeah, that was my first. That was my first ever interest. Let's just say it's been booming since then.
Business is booming.
But
Oh,
you're
yeah.
with Shane now.
Oh yeah, I love Shane. He's so much better, 110%
Yeah,
better,
Shane
and he's
seems
not a
pretty cool.
pedophile.
I
Oh my
hope-
god.
I hope not.
So
I hope not.
No, he's not.
Makes him so much better already.
Yeah, that's like,
Yeah, that's like,
really
Such a level up.
that's like 200 times better.
But the crazy thing is that I never really had. Did you guys ever have the talk? Like, would you ever have the
Yes.
talk with your kids?
Yes.
Oh, the
Do
most
you guys remember your
awkward
talks?
rendition.
I remember my talk.
I remember.
I remember.
I remember last year when I was going away.
I thought you were gonna say last year you had
no,
the
no,
talk.
no,
I was
no,
like,
no, 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 no. Last year when I was going away to Cooperstown, I told my brother and my sister-in-law, like, yeah, I'm like gonna stay in a hotel with like a friend, and my brother, yeah, it was a guy friend, yeah, and my brother looks at me and he goes, "No, you're not going." He goes, "I'm gonna have a talk with with mom and dad. You're not gonna go because you're going with a boy." And he goes, "Mom and dad wouldn't let me
Girl,
go
you're
away."
A grown ass adult.
Like he's like, when I was your age, mom and dad wouldn't let me go away with my girlfriend at the time. And then my sister-in-law goes, and I go, "Why are you like overreacting? Like it's just like we're going as friends." And my sister-in-law goes, "Well, Linda, when a man and a woman love each other, right?" And I go, "What are you guys doing?" And it's just like so weird. And my niece was like maybe like 6 months at the time.
Oh my!
So I was like holding her, and I was just like, "Here, I don't want her anymore."
It's
You guys are
always
like
so weird.
taking it too serious.
Ew.
It's
And then when I was on my way home,
It's what you two made.
Ew. Pushing their agenda on you.
and then when I got home, my dad's like, "Oh, I heard you're going up to Cooperstown with like your friend," and I go, "Yeah," and he goes, "I'm okay with it. He seems nice," and I was just like, "Yeah," and my mom's like, "I trust him. You can go." And I was just, and she goes, "You and your brother are different." And he goes, they're like, "We didn't like his girlfriend," and then he's like, "You guys are just friends." And I go, "Exactly. They were having the talk with me," and my mom's like, "What?"
That's wild.
But like that was crazy, and I was just like, I left in like disgust.
Of course, I would too. I'm gonna go over to Emily. I want to know on Emily's side. Did you ever have the talk that everyone always talks about?
So in 5th grade, my school sent home the permission slip to start
remember
learning
that.
about like puberty and stuff. And we were supposed to learn about, doing the do, and they never taught us because Catholic school.
But did your parents ever
So
have to
my
sit
mom
down?
took me upstairs, went up to my room, and was like, "Okay, I feel like I should like talk to you about this before you learn in class." And I was like, "Okay," but it was the most awkward roundabout way. She was like, "You know how like males and females are like different anatomically?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she's like, "They kind of like fit." And I was like, "I guess." And then she was like, "Good talk," and that was
like
it.
pieces of a puzzle.
And she was like, "Yeah, there's like eggs and like and the other stuff."
And ghosts.
And I was
Ghosts,
like,
crazy.
what
And I was
ghosts
just
are.
like, "Cool." And then you just like, it was just like the assumption that I learned somewhere else.
That's nuts.
I learned through the American Girl doll book.
That's not how you learn about sex.
That's how I learned. Unfortunately,
That's disgusting.
The care and keeping of you just teaches you that your boobs
Care
grow.
and keeping of you.
Devin, what about you? I think you're the youngest one in here, so
I am
You had
the
to talk
youngest.
the most recent.
Not that recently.
yeah, he had it today. Actually,
today it's
No.
only 8:27. How much recent than that?
he had it at 5:27.
Wow, Devin, you should have this well versed then.
Yeah, it was pretty near, but my father, he brought us to the backyard when I had my basketball hoop in the backyard.
My fault.
He brought us in the back. He brought me in the
You
backyard.
had like a teen movie moment.
You see, son,
But yeah,
intercourse is like a basketball hoop.
It was-
You get it in,
You get it
and
in,
that's
You
and then
just-
you get it in
Sometime
and you
you
score.
miss.
Yeah, a bunch of metaphors. about
Sometimes it's 1
sex.
point, sometimes it's 2 points.
It's like playing
sometimes you get it in, and
Exactly.
sometimes you don't, son. Oh, look at that miss, just like your mother.
swing and a miss. And sometimes you get that slam dunk.
I swear. What are all these basketball metaphors?
I mean, you literally just brought up that
Yeah.
your dad took you out back to
Sometimes,
Yeah.
Or like
sometimes
sometimes
something.
it's like just slam
We were just
dunk.
doing that just to do it. We were just doing that just to play basketball because I love basketball. So we were just doing something I
Yeah,
love.
that's
and we
an
Must
just-
have
analogy.
really loved basketball.
Yeah.
That's an analogy that
now,
you're.
now basketball is forever.
You can take
connected your
basketball to
sex
the
life now.
bedroom.
Basketball will forever be.
I mean, maybe
Babe,
she
the
loves
basketball
sports too.
needs to be in the bed.
You can't slam dunk.
basketball
I need
stays
my
in the
emotional
bedroom.
support
dribble
basketball.
into
I got
Sorry,
I gotta
he
dribble it
needs to be
in.
here at all times. Even if he's not on the bed, he's got to be near the bed.
Michael Jordan pointing at
So
you.
how did he tell you? I'm just curious. Now that you've got our attention, how did he do this?
Yeah, so we were just shooting some hoops and yeah, he was like, so you know about the birds and the bees, and I was like, yeah,
You know
yeah,
women.
and he was like, yeah. So like this is just I just gotta like give you more in depth of like what to do and what not to do and everything like that. And he was just telling me how to.
Oh, so
do
he's
it.
giving you tips.
No.
So if you stand
Just
right
the
here,
tip.
son, you get a better angle to shoot
Yeah.
the ball
So,
and
yeah.
the women.
So basically,
Not like that.
You never,
You know,
look,
sometimes
you never want to go
throw it
half
into the
court.
wrong- That's okay.
You never want to go half court. You gotta get
Remember,
you gotta get under the
son.
basket.
Bend
go
the
for a
knees,
layup.
son.
Yeah,
Bend
go-
the knees.
Sometimes you go for the layup. Sometimes you go for the dunk. It's all
I didn't know there were
situational.
this many basketball
Sir,
references.
you got to be like, your dad's gonna be like, no, you're holding it wrong. Maybe put your
No.
hand this way. I think this will definitely line up with
And
the
you
lines.
you can't do it if the ball's deflated.
Post up.
Doesn't work.
Post up. Penetrate the D.
Make sure you run
And
full
sometimes
sprint.
you get out of bounds, and
Yeah,
that's
it's okay. That's
Sometimes
okay.
you're out of breath. And like,
You're in tough
It's
luck,
okay. It's okay if you got to take a break and go sit
Yeah,
on the
sit on the
side.
bench.
It's okay. We all have those days.
Sometimes
son.
you
We
just
do.
gotta-
though. You're in tough luck, though, if she's trying to keep you.
Sometimes someone needs to sub in.
Yeah, exactly.
it's like happening. You're like Kobe. I'm like.
Go.
And if you need to record yourself making the hoop, I really don't suggest it, but it could be done, son.
Look, the highlight reel is very necessary. Look at Kim Kardashian.
She shot a few hoops in her day.
It's a fun time.
Damn. So, David, can you live up to basketball?
Imagine playing football.
Oh my gosh.
Hut, hut, hut!
Okay,
So
what?
we're gonna have
Football was very
the,
impactful for my life, but
baseball?
I was not told about the birds and the bees while playing football.
Can you imagine they bring out that whole, what is that?
The thing that you push?
No, they bring out the whiteboard and it's like, okay, we're gonna draw exactly
yeah,
the
it was-
diagram of
It's
what
like-
we're
The
gonna
X,
do.
you had the X and the O's.
You see, son,
Your dad teaches you from like playing a trumpet is like showing you that way.
See here, son. You gotta go away of the.
see,
defense.
you were trying to go for defense. You gotta go for offense.
Yeah.
You-
Sometimes the best.
Sometimes you gotta catch the ball, and sometimes you gotta let it go.
Yeah.
And don't forget to slap at the end.
Yeah.
Really seals.
And always go for the
Signed,
extra point.
sealed, delivered. I'm yours.
So how does your parents go about it, David? For real though.
So it was my dad, and they had the book.
The book?
Yeah, the book.
What was in this book?
The
Pictures?
classic. Yeah, it's picture.
We're gonna take some pictures.
but not like of the sexual organs. Of course, it was like a cartoonish version of it. It was like a bee going to a flower.
Oh, so it was like
that.
legit cartoons of like.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not where I was going.
And then like after like page 3 of like my dad being like this and this, I was just like, I know. Like I put my hand on his shoulder. It was like, I know. And it was like, all right. And it was
Your
like,
dad was like, and cut. All right, good
Never
scene.
it's
gonna
just
talk
like-
about
yeah,
this
it's
again.
just-
Good job, everyone.
Yeah, it was just like, all right. It was like then
Dad
it was
started
just
thinking
like,
that you know more than him.
Loving, touching, and squeezing.
and
Can you imagine? He goes up to you and he goes, "You're experienced." Well, I guess I'm 9.
Well, you guys, I was not 9. I think it was like 13, 14. It was like 13, 14.
You learned it on the street.
Close
I
enough.
also
Exactly.
learned-
This you learn on the streets.
On the
I also
playground.
kind of like
Exactly.
learned about the deed from the song with Journey, Love and Touch and Squeezing, because I was singing it in the car,
Crazy.
and I was like really young too. My mom was like, "This song's inappropriate," and I go, "Why?" And then she just
Oh, she
explained it.
explained.
Yeah, but I
Oh.
kept singing it anyway.
Every-
Ew.
Look, through the rap and everything in our generation, I think a lot of people knew a lot earlier than
Yeah.
we talked.
I saw stuff on the internet I should not have seen.
Also that, yeah, unrestricted access to the internet is also very dangerous.
For me, I did not fully get a talk, but I don't know if you ever had a friend that you would always go to whenever you were in a pickle of like, what do you do whenever you had feelings arise or you were in a moment. And, you know, I've always been that friend that people would go to. I think Linda uses me too. I'm always that person.
I don't use you.
Not like that. But people always come to me because as a kid, my mom, I remember our talk was, you see this book? My mother gave me this book and she kind of threw at me and she goes, read it. I did. I was a big reader. So I actually...
Did you learn anything?
I actually had photos. Like actual, not like legit photos of people, but it was like cartoons again, but of actual like... You know, of the ins and outs of the people.
Oh, God.
And then they also gave you all the slang words, too, of what this means, what that means. This is what this word mean. Yeah. And personally,
Shark bait. Ooh-ha-ha.
there was just a lot. And I was like, this is so much to take in. And
The rod.
it was a lot. I'm not going to lie. I don't know where that book went, but it was very helpful because... I was the most advanced person in the friend group. I always knew what the hell was going on.
I had to explain to my friend what the birds and the bees were.
Well, I mean,
you
I
the
had to do a
first
lot. Yes, I was the first person in my friend group to
Yeah.
also be the most experienced in that.
Oh, no.
From
that's
reading,
not-
too.
That's not what I was talking about. Have you seen Pen 15?
No.
Okay, never mind.
And then also, thanks. I kind of caught that.
No, but that's an actual show on Hulu.
Oh.
Yeah.
But I also had to talk with my dad. I had it from both parents.
Ooh,
Oh.
You got double trouble.
So, but the
Tag team.
Like, I already talked about this with mom. You don't have to do this.
So the best part was I was at a party. A family friend party. I had no idea what the hell was going on. I'm playing with like kids all around. I don't know whose idea this was to tell dad to come sit me down on the couch and
At a party?
yeah, with a bunch of children running around.
That's
My dad comes up to me. He goes,
You don't want any of these, do you?
No. My dad is not like that. My dad is more straightforward. So he came up to me and he goes, do you know?
Peen,
Do you-
fishy.
No. He just goes, do you know? And I go,
That's the most ominous.
Do you know
and
where you're
I'm sitting here like, what do I know? Like, do you want a hug? Like, I don't know what you want. And he's like, do you know about what goes on
The
when
Muffin
things
Man?
happen?
Yeah, do you know? The
And
Muffin Man?
I'm sitting here
Muffin
like,
Man.
Dad,
Muffin Man.
what are you talking about? and he just goes, if you ever need anything, just let me know. And I'm like, what the hell? Is this his version of the
Yeah,
talk?
if you need contraceptive, he'll get that.
Well, he was just like, just don't open your legs. All right, have a great one. I'm leaving.
That's
and I was
real.
like,
That's real.
I was
Take
like,
that advice.
Don't
okay,
give up.
Dad.
the butt.
Yeah,
Bend
because we
over.
love Jesus.
It was just crazy.
count.
We're talking about this
Trisha
though.
Paytas really loves Jesus.
Sodom and Gomorrah.
We're talking about this because there's a woman who was never taught or even spoken about what
I completely forgot that. was the
things
thing
were going on in the real world, and she wasn't allowed to date until she was 16. But this girl didn't understand because her household was so strict about it. And she just got out there and started learning things on her own. And unfortunately, she had winded up having a child at the age of 15.
And that's what
Wow.
happens when you don't have proper sex education.
And she also winded up having 12 kids.
Wow.
oh, so
Wow.
like super
So-
religious.
so zero
family.
She,
contraceptive,
when she
yeah.
was 15, she gave birth, and then shortly after she got married. So at least like the dad stage, she's now 34 and has 12 kids, and she's from Kansas.
Do you know
Like, like how like people are like, oh, that's my personal hell.
I mean, she
If I
tried
go to
leaving.
hell and this is it, I would literally die.
12 kids? Yeah, that's crazy.
12
I mean,
kids.
she says that she tried to leave her husband, but I mean, it's a pretty
She
big
tried
family
to leave
photo.
her family and
Well, no, she tried to leave her husband. It's a pretty big family
I feel
photo.
bad for her. She's kind of like just stuck with this guy because when she was 15, she made a mistake.
Have you noticed that they're all not smiling?
Yeah. Oh, that family seems like hell on earth.
Let that be the lesson. Please talk to your kids early. Please, 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 and please.